the reason, and I'm going to say it out now because he wouldn't do a trade with me, the reason why I wanted John Taylor so bad is because I'm convinced they're going to fix this run game.
And that's the reason I didn't trade John Taylor.
So that's what I was saying. I wanted him badly. I think if nothing goes right for this team with Jeff Saturday, this run game gets figured out and this O-line gets motivated. Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the Tipsy Tailgate podcast presented by Tipsy Tailgate Media. Peep the merch, hat, beanie, also a white hat, also coming out with white shirts and black shirts. We'll throw the mock-up on the screen. You're going to want these. They're coming soon. We'll post more. Another thing, this Sunday we are doing a live show at Dickerman's Ale House in Hamden. Sunday, 8 p.m., Sunday Night Football, live watch party, as I mentioned, free of entry, 21 plus, of course. We'll have Super Bowl-like boxes for the game, or we're deciding on if we're doing that or if we're going to do some type of touchdown score bet where everyone pools their money in and you have the chance to win a decent amount of money. So go, grab a couple drinks, watch football with us, and we'll be talking sports the entire time. So that's one thing. Another thing, follow Tipsy Bets TTM on Twitter. This is our Tipsy Bets account. We are 23-6. We got really hot in the summer.
I think 23-6 is pretty good, Aiden.
I think that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
What is that, like 80 something? Is that 80%?
I'll do the math on it for you.
I think it's like 80%. We're really excited that we're back.
80%.
Beautiful. You're not going to find better than 80% anywhere out there. So follow us on Twitter. If you're not following us on Instagram already at Tipsy Tailgate Media, then we post the pics there too. Show some love, show some support. We love doing this for you guys, and we want to see you guys show up, buy the merch, all that stuff, and rep the brand. So without further ado, let's get into our first topic. We're talking AFC East. Maybe being the best division in the entire NFL. What do you think, Benny?
Yeah, it's between the AFC East or the NFC East, and the only reason that I would say that it's the AFC East is because I think there's a sense of not fakeness to the NFC East, because I think the Giants are a good team, but I think you look at 1 through 4 in the AFC East, every single one of these teams, if you put them in another division, they're likely a playoff team. You look at the Bills, obviously they're a contender.
That's true.
You look at the Dolphins, obviously they're a contender. You look at the Jets.
Yeah.
What, top 2-3 defense in the league?
Now you have to take them seriously after
you do.
Bills.
And then you can never rule out a Bill Belichick team, regardless of how much I fucking hate them right now because they can't move the ball on offense. Regardless, you can't rule out Bill Belichick.
Can't.
And they're 5-4 at the bye, so who knows what the Pats could do in the second half? Do I think they'll make the playoffs? No, not a shot. But I think you look at this entire division, and you look at the competition that's taking place in the division. You see the Jets beating the Bills. Who would have thought that would have happened? Yeah. You see the Dolphins beating the Bills. Who would have thought that would have happened? I think we have an interesting division here. I think it's very interesting, and I think it's easily maybe the best division in sports, Aiden, let alone football. I think it might be the best division in sports.
So I think the Bills obviously are very real. The one thing with that, Josh Allen hurt his it was his UCLR, which is somewhat near or related to the Tommy John. But from what everyone's saying is they're either trying to cover it up or it's not as bad as an actual Tommy John injury is. So, but with that said, he's missed 3 practices in a row this week, and it looks like Case Keenum's going to get the start.
Yeah,
so
Josh Allen should not play this weekend.
He shouldn't play.
He should not play.
Then going off of that, the Jets beat the Bills. Do we think we've got a couple fan questions right now? So, do you think that the Jets have a top 5 defense in the league from Vinny?
100%. 100%. Like I just said, top 2 to 3. I think Sauce Gardner's easily the best cornerback in the NFL. You look at the receivers he's locked down. I'm not going to compare him, even though I'm going to Darrelle Revis. But you look at what Revis did in 2009 when he shut down all those receivers. I think it was guys like Reggie Wayne, Ocho, Randy Moss. I believe Andre Johnson was on that list. And then a few others that I'm definitely forgetting. He's doing similar things. So in Sauce Gardner, he's doing similar things this year. Sal, who are the receivers that he shut down? You would know better than me.
Stephon Diggs, Jamar Chase, Deontay Johnson, Amari Cooper.
That's fucking insane. That's fucking insane.
Both like Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis.
This guy's not, what, he hasn't let up a touchdown since he was in high school?
In high school.
That's insane. And let alone that, their front seven is legit. Their pass rush is legit. Their safety group, I hear a lot of Jets fans, I don't know if you guys...
It's a little inconsistent.
I don't know if you guys have stopped complaining about them, but on paper, that's a very good safety group. So I think this is easily... And then Robert Saleh, I think people have to, especially Jets fans that have heard shitting on Saleh, it's time to give it up. This guy's doing a great job with that team, obviously being 6-3, and he was brought there for the defense, and the defense is playing at the level that they are. I think it's time to start giving Saleh the respect and the credit that he deserves, and I think this is easily a top 5 defense. Easily.
So on Pro Football Focus, obviously you need a subscription to see everyone, but it shows you the top 3 cornerbacks for rankings. Coverage-wise, so this is interesting. So Sauce Gardner is ranked 3 in, I guess, the cumulative defensive by like point-something points.
All cornerbacks, not all defensive players.
Cornerbacks. Behind Jalen Ramsey by 0.6 and Jack Jones by 0.8.
Attaboy.
Now, with that said, Sauce has played the most defensive snaps and the most coverage snaps. In coverage, with the most snaps out of those 3 in coverage, he is he's just behind Jack Jones. But with that said, he's played against number 1 corners.
Right.
Jack Jones has been against 3s.
Right. Like Sal just said, he's been playing Jamar Chase,
exactly.
Stephon Diggs, guys like that.
I forgot Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle.
Yeah. So
that's insane.
It's very fair to say that he is the best cornerback in the league
100%.
as of right now.
Yeah.
100%.
Best cornerback in the league and the best rookie in the league.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes. Regardless of offensive, defensive, he's the best rookie in the NFL.
A lot of people kept shitting on him for like before the draft, saying,
I'm guilty of that. I shat on him.
Who, Sauce?
Yeah.
I did not want Sauce. I did not want Sauce to get drafted by the Jets. I was a big Kayvon Thibodeau guy. I think everyone was big Kayvon Thibodeau guy.
I remember
everyone wanted a pass rusher.
Okay, no. I remember saying that pass rusher is inherently more valuable.
Yeah,
I do remember saying that. But
looking back on it, we made obviously the right decision. With the AFC East, you got to go up against Davis, Tyreek Hill.
This is also how good Sauce Gardner's been, saying that it was the right choice to take him over Kayvon. No disrespect to Kayvon. Kayvon's been great. Sauce has just been that fucking good.
Yeah. No, and I remember saying, like, all right, yeah, I get it. He went to Cincinnati. He might not be covering the top receivers in the entire country, but you have to realize, like, cornerback by nature, like, you're not supposed to, like, let up any receptions.
Right.
Like, in terms of, like, just, like, lockdown coverage. And he didn't do that. And I mean, he did do that.
What makes him so good, too, is, like, no one also sees, he's, like, he's the biggest player on the field, like, every play. He's like 6'4", 6'5", he's huge, he's lengthy, like, impossible to get around.
It's also gotten to the point where, and this is huge for a guy as young as he is, obviously being a rookie, you know exactly where he is on the field at all times.
Yeah.
Like, that's something of, like, legendary corner status. You knew where primetime was. You knew where Revis was. Like, that's insane. That what he's doing right now, I think, is some of the most impressive shit we've ever seen from a young player in the NFL. And that includes Marino throwing 48 touchdowns his second year. That includes Peyton flipping the script with the Colts and going 13-3 his second year. Sauce Gardner's carrying a dog shit franchise, no disrespect, a dog shit franchise to a 6-3 record as a rookie cornerback.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to say, like, you mentioned mostly quarterbacks in that list and stuff, and like offensive players. Like, that's one thing that needs to be seen. Like, he's a cornerback doing all this.
And in an offensive league today.
Yeah.
This league is so offensive. and the impact that he's having as a defensive player, as a rookie on the Jets.
I don't want to jinx anything, but, like, it's really such a good feeling, like, going into the game and, like, you play, like, a team like the Bills or something.
You know no one's going to score on Sauce.
You just know no
one's going to score.
Knock on wood, but, like, for now, you just know, like, you know what I'm saying?
He's insane. The guy is insane.
So, with that said, going off that, do we think our second question from a fan, Jason,
Jason.
are the Jets legit? That's his question.
I
could take this one real quick. So, I say for now, for the meantime, 100% legit. Now, if we're talking playoff legitness, I come back down to, and Colin Coward was saying similar thing, I come back down to playoffs is mostly about your quarterback. You could go either way. Like, defense wins championships, of course, but your running game and certain things like that, there's going to be points where it goes away, and it just comes down to, can your quarterback lead us in a drive to score a touchdown? And I'm pretty sure Zach Wilson has been the worst rated quarterback in 2 or 3 quarterback metrics so far in the year. So my thing is, I think this team will get as far as this defense and this run game can take them when it comes time to playoffs, if they do make the playoffs, which is looking like they will.
Yeah.
I think will your quarterback win you a game, and I don't think they will.
I mean,
it's very similar to
tough.
2010.
It's very similar, and this is going to sound crazy. Like, Mark Sanchez is far better than Zach Wilson was.
100%.
Because, like, Mark Sanchez just didn't fuck up. Like, Mark Sanchez let Revis and the defense do what they needed to do, and they just handed the ball off to LT and let them make plays that way. Zach Wilson said it the other day, I can't stand being boring. Dude, that's your job right now. Your job is to be boring and let the rest of the team be spectacular. Yeah. That would be extremely impressive if he just did that.
Yeah.
But he's not allowing himself to do that.
In his position as a quarterback, he has to be a role player compared to every other quarterback basically in the league has to be the guy.
He just has to do less. And, like, if
just play his role, exactly.
If you go into the game and Zach Wilson doesn't have to throw the ball more than 25 times and the defense plays good,
the Jets will likely win if Wilson doesn't throw it more than 20 times and the defense gets a turnover. I think they've reached that point with that team.
No, I still don't like Zach Wilson. Like, I don't think he's our guy.
Yeah.
But for now, if the defense is playing this good and there's just so much talent on the team, like, the actual players are just, like, good.
I think,
and there's no Breece Hall, there's no Elijah Vera Tucker. Like, that's also another thing.
You just hit it on the head. I think if you still had Breece Hall, they would be a playoff team. But since they don't, I'm going to say they're not a playoff team.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think that it's, like, crazy to say, like, with their record right now and like, the rest of their schedule, like, it's likely they make the playoffs.
No, I don't think that's crazy.
But,
at
like, okay, you make the playoffs, we have to play the Ravens the first round. Like, we would get worked, I think.
Yeah, that's tough.
So to answer that question, we're all kind of on the same basis. Regular season-wise, yes.
Yes.
But when
playoffs,
they get there,
we don't think so. Now, Dolphins continue to roll. They are 6-3. I mean, this offense is electric. You got to give it up to Tua. Tua is everyone who doubted him is, taking a step back now because he's been playing great. And we have to admit it. He's been playing absolutely unreal for this offense. With that said, this is an offense that, like, how do you fuck it up? How do you fuck up this offense?
They're still undefeated with it.
They're so good. Like, but the thing is, he's making the throws. Like, I haven't seen many moments where he's missing a huge throw and they're like, oh, they lose because of it.
Okay.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
That's not true.
Have they lost the game with him? Have they lost the game?
No,
but
last week
he's not making
Bears. No. Let's not.
Throws.
Okay. Tua, very happy for him. Playing great football. Playing very well. One thing that I think has been forgotten about Tua is there was a mantra before he got drafted of tank for Tua. Tank for Tua.
Not that level.
Tank for Tua. So, when you take into account that people were actually tanking for Tua, I don't know why Tua's all of a sudden this underdog story. I think it's a bizarre narrative. But with that being said, you have to give him credit. He hasn't been as great as people are trying to make it out to be. He's been good.
I don't know, Benny.
He's been very good.
I don't know.
He literally threw it at someone's feet last week on 4th down and almost blew it to the Bears. The Bears are awful.
Listen,
the Bears are not a good football team.
I understand, but he's been like if you want to nitpick a couple passes here and there, like of course, but
that's what you do. You nitpick when you compare.
I see a lot of that from Josh Allen too. I see a lot of those.
Okay, let's not put Josh Allen into the same conversation. Let's not even.
I'm not comparing.
Not even try to do that.
I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying. I mean, like. You'd be remiss.
Tua isn't even the MVP of his own team. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously there's playmakers on that offense.
Like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. In terms of the value,
Tyreek Hill is on pace to break the receiving record.
All time.
Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of value on the Dolphins, it literally goes Tyreek, Waddle, and then Tua.
Bradley Chubb, then Tua.
Oh.
I'm fucking. I'm kidding.
No, but like, am I wrong? Am I wrong there?
No, yeah, it would go in. It would go in that order.
But yeah, I mean, I get it.
It's kind of reached the level.
But
this might be a weird comparison, but it's kind of reached the level of when Dante Culpepper played with Randy Moss and Chris Carter. It's almost like if people tried to say that Dante Culpepper was all of a sudden an elite quarterback. Like, no, he's just playing with Randy Moss and Chris Carter. Like, he's doing his job. Like, why can't it just stay at he's doing his job, he's playing well? Why does it all of a sudden have to turn into, oh, well, now Tua is better than Justin Herbert. Now Tua is better than Joe Burrow. Now Tua is just as good as Patrick Mahomes.
So
where did this come from?
So on cue, we've got a question from Campy. Thanks for dropping us a question. Tua versus Herbert, who you taking?
Okay, we literally got in a heated debate about this last night. I don't know where this Tua is better than Justin Herbert thing came from. I don't get it. Have we stopped watching football? Like, do we just turn our brains off? Justin Herbert plays for the dog shit LA Chargers. Let's list off some of the quarterbacks that the LA Chargers have had throughout their history. Dan Fouts, unbelievable quarterback, Hall of Famer, easily. He played with Kellen Winslow. They couldn't win a Super Bowl. They could not win a Super Bowl. Drew Brees and LaDainian Tomlinson couldn't come out of that with a Super Bowl. Drew Brees gets hurt, you fucking let go of him. Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. You can't even make a Super Bowl, let alone win a Super Bowl. You can't even make a Super Bowl. Eli Manning opted out of going to the Chargers. He literally opted out of going to the Chargers. So we look at the history of the Chargers. Dog shit franchise. Would you not agree with that? They've reached the level of dog shit franchise.
Yeah, they're laughable.
So Justin Herbert carrying that abysmal franchise his first 2 years. 33 touchdowns. Second year, 38 touchdowns. Last game of the year last year, nearly wills them into the playoffs. And we're going to compare the Chargers and the Dolphins. So compare the Dolphins and the Chargers as a franchise. Who's better? Who's better, Sal?
Right now. The Chargers or the Dolphins?
Yeah. What franchise is better?
Right.
Who is a more well-built franchise?
The Chargers.
Oh, my God. What is wrong with you?
So the thing,
what is wrong with you?
The thing with the Chargers is
the Chargers. The Chargers are a joke. They're a joke.
Well, not only do they always have the history of just like, oh, last second field goal, they miss it, like last second Hail Mary,
everything goes
everything
wrong
goes against them, exactly. So and then now,
wait, are you asking like right now or like this season?
Just in general, who's a better franchise, the Dolphins or the Chargers?
Then maybe I'd say the Dolphins probably.
Yeah, not even probably. It is the Dolphins.
Yeah. And it's.
I thought you were asking like.
No, just like in general, like who's a better franchise historically? Who takes better care of their players? Well, like all that bullshit. Like just who's a better franchise? It's the Dolphins.
And it's become pretty evident that the Chargers need to move on from their head coach. He's not doing a great job. I mean, I get it, injuries are coming in, but like this is a team that I would say like maybe 30% of people that had Super Bowl picks were going with the Chargers to at least be in the Super Bowl.
The Chargers are still 5-3.
Yeah, like I'm not saying they're done, but like this is a team that had such high expectations. I get it, the injuries, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen can't get on the fucking field. But like, you know, if this season doesn't turn out for them, like they need to make a move at head coach. They need to do something because you know you can't keep adding pieces and just keep like falling short. And I get it. Herbert's going to be coming off of a bye week, and hopefully he's finally healthy with that rib.
Thank you for bringing that up. The guy's playing with a broken rib. Playing with a broken rib.
No wide receivers.
And no one cares.
No starting wide receivers. No Mike Williams. No Keenan Allen.
And all of a sudden, Tua's better than him because Tua gets to play with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
I agree. I don't think he's better.
It makes no sense.
I don't think he's better than them at all. I'm just saying, as long as Tua needs to get his flowers because he's in third.
I'm not disagreeing with you. But if Justin Herbert was on the Dolphins, they would win the Super Bowl this year. 100% would win the Super Bowl.
I don't know.
He would throw 50 touchdowns on that team.
Yeah,
he would break records.
Those weapons.
He would break records on that team. He would throw for 6,000 yards. He's that good. Justin Herbert is that guy. And all of a sudden, I don't get why we do this. Before the season, we're like, Justin Herbert's great. He's amazing. And then he breaks his rib. Almost everyone on his team gets hurt. And all of a sudden, Justin Herbert sucks and isn't as good as Tua. Like, why do we do this? Why do we change the narrative?
Benny, I'm going to get you a little pissed off right now. Ready for this one? So the Justin Herbert narrative right now is that, he's not playing good. He's a little hurt, and his team is also hurt. So everyone around him is hurt. I think there's another quarterback like that in the NFC. His name is Aaron Rodgers.
I don't see Herbert throwing.
Aaron Rodgers. We don't like Aaron Rodgers, and obviously he looks bad. But you're saying, when your team sucks around you, it's not a good look or whatever. Well, Aaron Rodgers' team around him sucks.
Well, Justin Herbert doesn't go to the media and shit on that team.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. The thing with Rodgers is that, one, he doesn't show interest in the game anymore. Like, you could knock Brady all you want, this season about not being fully in. When they won that game, he went up on the podium. He said that feels fucking.
He's like, that was fucking awesome.
So he's still checked in. He might have been not as much as often, but with Rodgers, the thing is, I know you want to say everyone around him's hurt. Romeo Doubs just got hurt. I believe Christian Watson's been pretty banged up.
He's been banged up all year.
Yeah,
I'll give him Watson.
Alan Lazard's been there. Aaron Jones has been hurt a lot entirely.
Lazard.
But he's played every game besides one. Aaron Jones has been healthy until this week. He just got hurt. A.J. Dillon just flat out sucks. It's more so the team as a whole isn't, or at least the offense isn't pieced together the right way. But we've known that, and we've been saying, what if he wasn't going to come back because Devontae Adams, then we get it. But he knew Devontae was going, and then he still came back.
Yeah,
so
and then he tried to change the narrative. This guy tries to change. Talking about changing the narrative. No one tries to control the narrative and change it more than Aaron Rodgers, and that's why I fucking hate him. I cannot stand him, as everyone knows. He's the worst. But you take $55 million, you're not going to be able to keep Devontae. Yeah. So when you take the $50 million and then Devontae leaves, why are you surprised? You knew that's what was going to happen.
And what has Brady done continually over his career?
Take less money.
Exactly. Pay cuts to help out his team. And Rodgers, just, selfish guy he is, wouldn't do that.
And Ben, do you think it's gonna reach a point in the season with the Packers that you're gonna have to think about benching Rodgers, or you think it's gonna come that far or no?
I don't know. I really don't, because I don't see him accepting that. But I also don't see the positives in playing him. Because what if he takes a horrible injury and then you rebuild over the offseason? He's not ready to go next year.
So I think the thing with Rodgers is if they officially are out of playoff contention, statistically, number-wise, then I think I could see them doing Jordan Love, because not only that, but they have to decide whether or not they're sticking with Jordan Love, and they need to see something. If he plays great, they could trade him for a second. If he plays great, if he plays terrible, then he trades him.
You cut bait, and then you draft another quarterback.
Don't you think it's annoying, the whole Jordan Love narrative that we've been hearing about this guy forever?
Well, yeah,
he's just
he's clearly
Rodgers.
From what we know, he
was Rodgers behind Favre, but every time we see him, I don't see anything.
From what we know, he stinks unless he's lighting it up on the practice field.
Which I doubt.
I doubt it.
I doubt it.
So I think it's possible that Rodgers gets benched down the road. I don't see it yet.
But he's playing horrible.
He's playing terrible. Now, on the other side of the conversation we've had for the past couple weeks, Brady, who was playing subpar, they turned it around with a fourth quarter comeback, 10 points unanswered, and an insane last 60 seconds on the clock?
I believe it was 59.
59, yeah. Drives it down. Well, first I want to say, because this is also a big part of it. They were in the red zone. The Bucs were about a minute, whatever, left, and they couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
They were going. They get to the red zone. Scotty Miller drops a fucking touchdown pass off his head.
How many drops did they have?
Then
like 13?
Cade Otton drops a touchdown pass. 2 drop touchdown passes. Almost, I think they were either back-to-back plays or they were on the same possession for sure. In the end zone. Then they turn it over on downs. It just seems like everything's wrong. This team's season is over. Then they get the ball back. What was it? 59 seconds, right?
Yep.
Brady leads. Brady.
That was a classic
Brady drive.
So is Brady back?
I've kept on saying all year, I never thought he was gone. And you could disagree, whatever it is. He's throwing a Cade Otton and Scotty Miller, and those are his top 2 weapons from last game against the Super Bowl defending champs, the Rams. And
well, I mean, he did have Evans on the field.
no, yeah, he had Evans, Godwin, Julio, Fournette.
And Aiden's got to feel terrible for Brady.
No,
whenever there's something going a little bad his way.
So his top 2 receivers were Scotty Miller and Cade Otton. Cade Otton's a rookie tight end. And Scotty Miller is a 5'10" white receiver.
Well, let's not act like he doesn't love that kind of receiver.
Oh, well, he does.
He's made a Hall of Fame career out of passing the ball to those guys.
For sure. But they're definitely not the type of guys, because if you're comparing Scotty Miller and Cade Otton to if I'm not saying compare them, but if you're saying Scotty Miller's the type of Edelman and Cade Otton's the type of Gronk, both of those guys dropped game-winning touchdowns in the end zone.
Right.
So I'm just saying what he's doing is the same shit he's been doing for years, and I never thought he left. I'm still on that.
Okay, so where I stand on it is I think this was a game or a season-changing win.
Yep.
This last week, I think it was a season-changing win. I'm not going to give him a pass for the bullshit he was pulling early in the year because I was criticizing him, and I think rightfully so. He wasn't engaged. And honestly, rightfully so on his part. He had a lot of shit going on, obviously. Tough situation. But seems like he's back in the swing of things a little bit. Even his tenor throughout the week this week has been completely different.
Yeah. More engaged.
Which honestly is kind of bullshit because, it took this huge win for you to re-engage yourself. But nonetheless, look who's atop the NFC South, Aiden. All they need to do is win that division. That was a big loss
4 seed now
on the
after that or something.
A big loss on the part of the Falcons last night. I think that's something that got overlooked for Brady in terms of Brady, what he needs to happen. The Falcons lose. I think the Bucs will beat Seattle this week. I think Seattle's due for a big loss. They haven't had a big loss in a while. So, I mean, hey, the Bucs get back to 500, and they're a dangerous team the rest of the way. Who knows what this team could do if they crack into the playoffs?
And here's my thing with it. I think at some point they've got to figure out their run game, and I don't know how they do it. I don't know if they move more to Rashad White than Fournette for more of a pop.
Well, here's the
offense.
thing. I don't think it's the way Fournette's playing. I think it's more the O-line.
Yeah, I don't think their O-line's playing that good, and they're a little hurt too.
No, well, it's they're playing terrible. They're averaging 3 yards a carry, worse than the NFL. Mm-hmm. They're averaging 60 yards a game, worse than the NFL. They have 3 rushing touchdowns. I think that's tied for the worst in the NFL. They've had 540 total yards rushing. Like the second, so it goes the Rams, then the Colts. The Colts have 780, and the Bears have almost 1,800. Just for comparison. So this run game has been non-existent. If they figure that run game out, this team's gonna be this team's still gonna be dangerous. Of course, they lost. What's his name? The defensive piece 2 weeks ago, I believe, out for the season. Was it Devin White?
It was Devin White.
Yeah. Which is a brutal blow, but
probably their best defensive player.
Yeah, I still think that they could figure this out and make some noise in the playoffs.
No, I agree. You can't rule out Tom in a one game takes all type of setup.
Now I'm interested to what as I don't know, maybe a part-time Colts fan based off the Peyton Manning stuff.
Yeah. Well, I honestly fuck the Colts. They cut him.
Benny was like an intern for the Colts.
Yeah, he's an intern. What do you think about? So let me paint the picture here. Frank Reich, everyone loves him. He's like one of the best coaches in the league for a couple of years, where everyone's like, this guy knows what he's doing.
It looked like he was responsible for that Eagles Super Bowl win.
Exactly. Goes to the Colts. They look like they're a piece away for a while. Fast forward, they're disappointing this year again. Their quarterback situation's probably the worst in the NFL.
Abysmal.
He gets fired. Right after he gets fired, Jim Irsay, their owner, goes ahead and hires Jeff Saturday, who has not coached at any level of coaching experience besides
high school,
a private high school in which he finished 55% win-loss. So like he wasn't even dominating in high school. Now he's a head coach for the Colts, and I have a couple takes on this. So there's one side of it where it's like, this guy does not know how to coach. This is gonna be a disaster. And then the other side of me is like, this guy can lead men, because we all know he could lead men.
Yes.
This guy's a Colts hero. They're going to respect him.
Listen, outside of Peyton, he was the leader of that Colts team.
Exactly. And then the other thing is, this running game has been completely abysmal this year. And the O-line,
he could fix that.
He is an O-line guy, and he's going to emphasize the run game. The reason, and I'm going to say it out now because he wouldn't do a trade with me, the reason why I wanted John Taylor so bad is because I'm convinced they're going to fix this run game.
And that's the reason I didn't trade John Taylor.
So that's what I was saying. I wanted him badly. I think if nothing goes right for this team with Jeff Saturday, this run game gets figured out and this O-line gets motivated. So there's two paths for me. They can get hot with him, or they could just completely crumble again. I don't know what I see happening.
So when I first saw this, I had a very similar reaction to, I think, everyone of like, what? Like, what? But the more I thought about it, the more I'm a fan of it. I think Jeff Saturday, everything you hear, great guy. Like, best guy in the world. Nicest guy ever. Obviously a leader. And he could be a big morale change in that locker room. And I think that could be huge.
It's like a Dan Campbell that actually had a great NFL career.
Yes, a Dan Campbell who had a borderline Hall of Fame career.
Exactly. That's like where the big difference is there on big team, on important teams.
Yeah.
You know? So overall, what do you I think we have to just pick something. Do we think it's going to work, or do we think it's not going to work? Because I haven't picked myself either. I think we both have to just pick right now.
I think it works in the sense that there's a mood shift in that locker room, and they look like an actual football team again.
Yeah.
But I don't think they necessarily see the wins on the schedule.
I think in like big time decisions, clock management, that's where it hurts them, and
yes.
they lose big games
yes.
late.
Like, I could see him throwing, like, a really bad challenge flag in a big moment. I could see him calling a stupid timeout, not calling a timeout.
It is, exactly.
Just, like, really stupid shit.
With that said, do you think that they're going to beat the Raiders this week? Because the Raiders are without Renfro, Waller, and I just think it's one of those things where they fire the coach, new coach comes in, everyone plays for him. I think they win this week. I don't know.
Listen, I hope they beat the Raiders, because if the Raiders lose, they're likely going to fire McDaniels, and that would be great for the Patriots.
That would be. So, and then we could touch on this next week, actually. I'm not going to jump on that. But we want to talk about the Seahawks here. Are they legit contenders?
It's hard to say that a team that is 6-3 isn't a legit contender, but I mean, no, they're not a legit contender. Like, they just can't be.
I don't know if I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I admit, before this season, I put a bet down that the Seahawks were going to finish with the worst record in the NFL. And I was confident.
No,
and boy, was I
wrong. It wasn't a bad
it's not a bad bet.
It's not a bad bet. Like,
when you have Geno Smith.
wrong.
Dude, the Seahawks were supposed to suck and blow. Not just suck and blow.
I mean,
they were supposed to be awful. They were supposed to be awful.
The defense got worse. The offense got worse.
This defense, I will say,
Their defense is
good. Amazing. It is amazing.
It's like they almost got an addition by subtraction.
Mm-hmm.
And by losing Bobby Wagner, they are just playing better. By losing Russell Wilson,
they got better.
Just better. Like, it doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense at all. But
and their rookie cornerback now, Tariq Woolen or whatever, he's a 5th round pick,
and he's getting no attention because of Sauce Gardner.
He's right behind Sauce.
Without Sauce, he'd probably be
the story of the league right now.
Candidate. So here's another thing. Do you think Pete Carroll, if this team does make it to the playoffs, I'm not saying they're gonna make any noise in the playoffs. If this just does make the playoffs, do you think this, like, Do you think this because Pete Carroll's been like a borderline? Is he a Hall of Famer?
No, I think
he's just pushes him into.
I've always been a huge Pete Carroll is a Hall of Famer. Huge proponent of that. I think that obviously him not running the ball on the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl changed a lot of people's opinion on that. But listen, the season that he's had, the fact that he's 6-3 right now, and it might sound weird, but to me, the fact that he has a team like this at 6-3 is like, oh yeah, like this guy's a Hall of Famer. Like what he's able to do with this team, how he's able to motivate these guys, what he's able to do from an X and O's perspective, he's a Hall of Famer.
I would probably get on board with that.
Seahawks play the Bucs in London on Sunday.
I think it's in Germany.
Oh, Germany. Oh
yeah, it might be the Germany.
But I think Tom wins this game.
I didn't even know. Is it a 9:30 game?
It's a 9:30. I don't know where it is. It's the Allianz Arena.
That sounds German.
I don't.
Yeah, I have no clue where that is. But
yeah, it's in Germany.
Yeah, Munich.
I don't know. I don't know who I'm taking.
I'm gonna take the Bucs.
Bucs are minus 2.5.
Yeah, I'm going Bucs, but I could 100% see this being a close game.
Oh no, I think it'll be close. I think it's gonna be like a 20-17 type game. But I think that the Bucs are at the point where they just need to throw shit at the wall and see what will work.
Or can you see the transition to an overseas game, switching up something, whatever the Seahawks have going, and it being just a Brady blowout? Because I could kind of see that too.
I've gotten to the point with this team. Did you watch the Seahawks Cardinals?
Yeah, I mean
like that. So Geno Smith
legit wins.
It's a really close game. And all of a sudden, Geno Smith throws a pick six. I was like, oh, here we go. I was like, the bubble's finally going to be popped on this team. I'm not even, like, from a perspective of rooting against Geno. I was kind of like, just like, oh, it was too good to be true. Like, poor guy. Like, it's going to fall apart. He immediately switched right back.
Yeah.
And then he leads the team. And then they kind of blew out the Cardinals. I was like, holy shit. Like, this is insane. Like, that's something that a guy like Tom Brady or Big Ben or Peyton or Eli, like, they throw a pick six, and then they immediately storm back and win the game by double digits. And then Geno Smith did that. That was a big prove-it game to me from Geno Smith's perspective. Like, that was wildly impressive.
And then another thing I wanted to touch on is we've kind of discussed, are these teams legit, Jets, Seahawks, whatever. I want to know what your dark horse Super Bowl team at the midway point of the season is.
I got mine.
Go
you
ahead.
guys go first. I'll go last.
You want to go first, Aiden?
I think you should go first.
All right, word. I mean, like, I don't know if I'm gonna catch shade for this or like this is necessarily like a dark horse, but they're not in the lead in their division. But I'm gonna do the Cowboys because.
Give me a better one.
No, I like the Cowboys. I like the Cowboys.
They're not really dark horse.
But like they're clearly I think every week we talk about the Cowboys. Oh, they're still gonna win the division. I don't think they are now.
Okay. I mean,
I think the Cowboys are too good to be considered dark horse.
But like I'm looking through the league right now. Like who's a dark horse? I'm not saying Denver. Denver sucks.
The Jets.
But like we just talked about the Jets. We said the Jets are gonna get
a good dark
get
horse.
Killed in the playoffs, and I'm not doing the Giants.
I feel like
the Giants.
I would say the Bengals are more of a dark horse than the Cowboys.
Like the Bengals are good. They're 5. Like I don't know.
I don't think the Bengals are in dark horse territory either.
I don't think.
Fine, I'll give you mine. I got the Titans.
Horse.
The Titans are my dark horse Super Bowl team. I think they're getting slept on heavily. I think that, as we said a couple weeks ago, Mike Vrabel is a top 5 coach in this league. Mike Vrabel's amazing at what he does. Derrick Henry is back. The king is back. Crown him. He is the man. In my opinion, the best running back in football. And I think he has been the last 5 years. He is just insane with what he's able to do. They almost beat the Chiefs, completing 5 passes. Did you think there would ever be a time when we could say that a team goes into Kansas City on Sunday night and almost beats the Chiefs, completing 5 throws?
Yeah. 5 throws, not one to a wide receiver.
Like, that's insane.
That was crazy.
That is unheard of. So I think this is the kind of team that can go on the road and win in the playoffs. And it sounds really weird to say, but when you add back Ryan Tannehill, who would have thought that we'd say this? That's just a major upgrade at quarterback. So I think that this team can't be ruled out, and I think that they could go on a deep run.
So I don't know where you stand on this. How would you feel if I went with the Buccaneers, or would you say that's?
Honestly, I think that's a dark horse team.
That's a mid pick, Aiden.
I think it's a dark horse team.
I think they're for sure. Like, I think if we don't want to,
it's like the Bucks are gonna Bucks. Like, I don't know. Like Tom's
if
gonna
we're
it's the Bucks.
I feel like everyone's waiting for Tom to crawl back into.
Yeah, and he's doing him right now. So like, I don't know. Can you pick it back?
Okay.
Can you pick another?
Well, and then I think by the same nature, you guys are gonna say that the Dolphins are a BS pick as well.
No, I don't think so.
I wouldn't consider them dark horse.
So if we're going, if that's what I'm saying, if both of those don't count,
but I'll give you it. I'll give you it.
Okay, but
I would give you Bucks. I would give you Bucks.
I would like dark horse. You're talking like Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, I'm talking like making the Super Bowl. Like
yeah, I think that's a fair.
I think both of them could do it, but like if in a way you guys didn't want to do that, I would say the next one I'd go with is the Browns. I think there's a world, I don't know what the odds are, but there's a world where Deshaun Watson comes back and he just lights it up.
Yeah.
Who knows? Honestly, who knows? But
listen, if they can get back to 500 when he gets back, yeah, you could be right.
I mean, this is a good division because the Ravens and the Bengals will beat up on each other. The Steelers are good for maybe a couple more wins against their divisional opponents. I think that there's a world where he comes in and they finally have the passing attack to match the rushing attack that they've had. This defense is starting to figure it out. I think that's possible.
That is a mean read option with Watson.
Imagine Watson comes back and they're just like not as good as they were with Brissett, and he just like sucks.
Like everyone.
That would be.
Because like also like why is that not that outlandish? He hasn't been on the field in like 2 years.
He hasn't played in 2 years.
And then when he did get the 3 snaps he did in the preseason, he sucked. It was like three pass attempts, but still. Like,
yeah, I mean I don't think we can really hold that against him, but I think you're right. I think it is possible, especially this year. I think next year he'll be fine working with the team the whole offseason, but it's very possible that you just drop him in this year and he's not good.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't play well.
What about you, Ben? What do you got?
I said the Titans.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
But yeah, I'll talk about it more if you want. I'm actually like I said before the year 9-8 missed playoffs. I think I was so wrong. This team is so impressive to me.
Vrabel's just
Vrabel's the man.
He's cementing himself as one of the top coaches in the league.
And Derrick Henry, I can't say enough about the guy. He is nuts, dude.
Did you see the video? It was like Vrabel was talking. He was like, "Yeah, just give the ball to Derrick."
Yeah, like it's insane. And I've never seen a team. That's not true because the Pats adapted to Bill's personality of like shut down in front of the media and shit like that. But this team is so tough and so gritty and like so hardworking, just like Vrabel is as a coach and just like he was as a player. Yeah. I love this Titans team. I love it.
He's been perfect.
And I think Malik Willis. I know that he only completed 5 passes, but he's a gamer, man. Like they could kind of use him like the Saints use Taysom Hill, not in the sense of like catching passes and shit like that, but you could put him in the red zone for like a read option or something like that. I could see that
for sure. That's great. I like those picks. Now to end it off, we're gonna do a little bit of a different topic here. So for those of you that don't know, I'm having some trouble in one of our fantasy leagues. And it's more so like the fade god than like my team is just awful. I mean, I guess they could say both. I don't think my team's that bad, or at least wasn't. Now we've come up with a real statistic metric that Sal's going to read to you on why my team's the fade god.
I went back through all Aiden's matchups in fantasy, and this is just pretty crazy. So 7 offensive players in fantasy goes quarterback to flex in our league, not counting defense or kicker. 57% of the offensive players that you play against, Aiden, are scoring touchdowns. 57%
in their games, like in the weeks I'm playing them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't do the math on like if it's like a 2+ touchdown thing, but like that's also something to consider because like you're not only losing by like touchdowns, like you're getting smoked.
There's been
like, these guys are putting up like 2-3 touchdowns on you.
Yeah. No.
So I did the math. Last week I went 6-1. 6 out of the 7 players. 6 out of the 7 players scored a touchdown. Yeah. So 57%, and we're like, why don't we start betting this? If we put money on all the players that play you in fantasy to score a touchdown, we would make money. So the odds aren't out yet for the touchdown scores this week, but for now, Kyler Murray. I don't know. We could go rushing touchdown for Kyler Murray that night.
I could see a rushing touchdown.
I could see a rushing touchdown. DeAndre Swift, Miles Sanders, Cooper Kupp, Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz, and Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah.
Also, mind you,
they're all gonna score.
You're playing Ben Redling. He had Drake London on his bench last night, and he scored a touchdown.
Oh my
So this is a
God.
true thing.
So like this is a real
thing.
thing.
I am
and
touchdown fade god.
That is
and I
awful.
think that obviously now that we talked about it and we start betting it, it's not going to work. But
We'll see.
this
week will be the
it
true
has to
test.
be talked about, and I think we need to dabble
This
a little
week
bit.
will be the true
the
test.
time we acknowledge it is
Yeah.
when it's not going to happen.
Yeah. This week will be the true test. And then we have one last fan question coming at the buzzer. Mikey wants to know, who do I start in my flex? Chris Olave, Gabriel Davis, or Deontay Johnson?
All right, well, definitely not Deontay Johnson. I'll tell you that.
And I would say not Gabe Davis as well because you don't know
If Josh Allen
what's
is
going
playing
on
or
with
not.
Josh.
So that leaves us with
Olave.
Olave against the Steelers, which, isn't a terrible
I would go
matchup.
with
The Steelers have
Olave.
been banged up.
I
I'll
would
go
play
as
Olave.
well. All right, so thanks for listening. Again, live show is this Sunday, 8 p.m., Dickerman's Ale House. Be there if you're 21 or up. We want to see you guys support. We're going to have merch coming out. Peep the stuff. And I guess we'll see you guys next time.